Are you a writer whose mind is a whirlwind of creativity and distraction? Hello, and welcome back to Writing While Distracted, the writing podcast that helps you transform your scattered thoughts into literary brilliance. If it's your first time here, thank you for listening, and I appreciate that you're here with me today. I'm Brenda Murphy, your NeuroSpicy writing coach. The podcast is for writers of all kinds, but particularly those dealing with distraction and mental health issues. On this podcast, you'll hear positive advice for staying focused amidst the chaos of your mind, along with tips to help you find your story's beginning and use your strengths to get to the end of your novel, because here, creativity thrives in the midst of chaos. Stay tuned for today's podcast when we discuss how to keep writing when you want to burn it all down. Coming up next. For today, we're going to explore the ups and downs and all of the spaces in between on your creative journey, especially for those of us who fall under the neurodivergent umbrella. Today, we're going to talk about something that I know many of us have faced at least once: the overwhelming urge to give up, to set everything on fire, pile all your manuscripts in the backyard and just set them on fire, or to trash whatever budding career we have, or maybe we're in the middle of our career, or maybe we're near the end of our career, who knows? But you can just have one of those days where you just want to quit, and you want to do it in a dramatic fashion. Those signs, that feeling. And here I am talking specifically about your writing. If you have feelings that you want to exit this world, unalive yourself, that is not something that's going to be covered in this podcast. And if you are having those feelings, please, please tell someone. The world is a better place with you in it. Now, moving along from that announcement. This is a podcast that's going to talk about those times when everything just feels too much. It's too much of your time away from other things you'd rather be doing. It's too much energy. It's too much focus. It's too much failure. There's just too much noise in your head, and there's too much noise in the world. And it feels like you are doing nothing that is going to accomplish anything. And when you are a writer, there are long periods of time that you are working hard at something that no one else can see, really. I mean, they might see a stack of pages, but does it mean anything to them? Just that you've created a stack of pages. And while that is significant, there are times that other people in your life look at that and go, what the hell are you doing that for? Why are you wasting your time? Why are you spending all this time away from me? Why are you not doing something more productive? You should be making money at this. You should be doing this and they can list a whole bunch of reasons that don't have anything to do with why you want to do what you want to do and why you want to be a writer. The first thing I want you to understand is you are not alone in those feelings of wanting to burn it all down. I bet you if you talked to just about any writer, they will all tell you of a time they just wanted to set their manuscript on fire or shred it or delete the entire project or throw it into a fireplace or actually have done those things. There are times people in a impulsive rage for whatever reason, or just in the pit, the very bottom of despair, delete their manuscript. And the first thing I'm going to ask for you to do is, if you are feeling any of those things or some kind of way about your manuscript, please, for the love of all that's good, put it away from you, but do not destroy it. Don't destroy it. Don't give up. Put it away, lock it in a file cabinet, put it in a box in the basement, put it in your attic, stuff it in your mattress. I don't care what you do with it. But don't destroy it. Our minds lie to us routinely, especially people on the neurodiverse spectrum. Our minds lie to us all the time about every single thing. And you know this, I know this, we know this, but we can't always make ourselves believe that the lies are lies. And therein is the problem when we have that overwhelming feeling that we need to just stop writing. Because in addition to those internal pressures we have, there are external pressures. There's the fear of public censorship. There's the fear of financial stress, or actually the reality of financial stress. Say you quit your job to become a writer and you haven't really made any money. That is a stressor. Lack of money, finances, that's a huge stressor that is external to your internal ideas about quitting writing, but it can totally put the screws to you about stopping this career. There can be the sting of a harsh review from words that you already have out in the world, or maybe a rude rejection from an editor, from an agent, from a fellow writer that you asked to beta read your stuff. There can be any number of words that come at you from outside yourself that can make you feel bad about your writing and what you're doing. All of the old voices in our heads that tell us that we're foolish to pursue a creative career. And this goes for people who are writers and any kind of creatives. There's always the voices that say, keep your day job, boy, you're wasting your time, take out the garbage, stop screwing around at your desk on your computer. You fill in the blanks. Because I know each and every one of you have probably heard them at one time or another. And if you haven't, I'm very happy for you. And I hope that the world continues to treat you the way that we all should be treated, with kindness. But if you're the rest of us, those of us who've had horrible things yelled at us about our desire to pursue a career in writing, or people who've teased us or made fun of us or in some way denigrated our decision and acted like it wasn't real or a real job or that we weren't real writers, those voices are hard to contend with sometimes. They can be overwhelming. They get in your head and chisel away at whatever self-esteem you've managed to build around your writing career. Today, I want to talk about some ways that you can deal with those horrific ideations around destroying your work or your career. The first thing you need to do when you are having those horrible, horrible feelings of overwhelm and feeling like you're not enough, you need to rest. And I want you to understand, resting is not quitting. And I'm going to say it again, resting is not quitting. Sometimes you need to take a step back. And it's okay to take a pause, even if there are deadlines or you have an obligation. If stepping away is not entirely possible, because oftentimes indie authors are juggling a lot and their publications are their livelihood. And you can't really step back all the way. I want you to look at your schedule and find ways you can cut back on things and give yourself grace. Look at, seriously, what obligations can I let go of without lasting harm to my career or lasting harm to my writing process, lasting harm to my creativity? Maybe you can reduce your schedule. Maybe you can let things go. Maybe you can step back, and this is a very big one that I think benefits everybody, is taking a social media break. Because everything in social media is presented as urgent. And really, in life, urgency is very, very rare. Okay? Most things are not life or death that we face every day. It may cost you time. It may cost you money. It may embarrass you. It may upset you. It may anger you. It may do any of 100 things. But what it most likely is not going to do is kill you. Those harsh words that people put out there, while they won't kill you directly, they can kill your spirit, and that can feel urgent. And then you take all of that inside you and you're stewing on it. And you're giving strangers on the internet, and even if they're not strangers, even these people that you know, maybe tangentially, maybe because you've met them at a conference, you're giving strangers power over your life. I know I'm not the first person to say this, but please, for the love of all that's good, do not give strangers on the internet control over your life. They don't deserve it, and you don't deserve it. Step away, set time limits. I really believe in a detox. Take 2 weeks off social media. I mean, completely off social media. Shut it all down. Shut it down and fill that time with positive things. If you want an eye opener, and I've talked about this before, look at your screen time and look at specifically where you're spending your screen time. Social media is not your job. Your phone is not your job, so quit acting like it is. If you are spending 20 to 40 hours a week on your phone, that is as much as a part to full-time job. If you are feeling stressed and you don't have time to get everything done, I would submit looking at your hours might free up some time. But the biggest thing letting go of your phone is going to free up is your brain. You can just wash away all of that negative energy and hysteria and drama that you don't need. We all have enough of our own in our own very personal, very real lives that have nothing to do with however many people that you're friends with on the internet, all their drama. You can only take so much drama. Focus on your own. Let theirs go for a little while. Step back. Just take 2 weeks off. If you're worried about people being worried about you, if you have groups that you check, just tell them. Just make a little post. Nothing dramatic. Just say, hey, stepping back for 2 weeks. Catch you all on the flip side. That's all you have to do. That lets people know that you converse with daily, because I have some of those people that I check in with daily because they're on the other side of the world and they are actually friends. And I let them know, hey, I'm okay, but I need to step back for a minute. That also gives other people and encourages other people to step back. So that's the first thing I want you to do. Step back from social media and rest a minute. Get disengaged from all that overwhelm that you're feeling. Okay? And this is where my advice may contradict itself. Say you were in the middle of a book, you got to the soggy middle, horrible things happened. I was in the middle of the book when we lost my brother-in-law to depression, and it was horrible, and I took a very long time off. And I came back to the book that I'd been working on, and I realized that I could no longer write that particular book. And even though I was 30K into that book, I took that book and I set it aside, and I found a project that sparked joy in my heart, that made me happy to sit down and grind out the 75 to 50 words a day that I could do at that point in time while working through my grief. And this is my advice to you. If you have had a sudden life event, a death, a marriage, a divorce, a child leaving your home to go to college, because even though that's a positive thing, it can feel stressful. Whatever else you have going on in your life that makes you want to burn everything down right now, when you come back to work after your rest, find a project. Seriously, look at the project you're working on, and it's okay to set it aside. I didn't say give up on it forever, but sometimes you just have to start over. Don't destroy it. Put it aside. Start something new that gives you joy when you sit down to work at the computer, that excites you, that makes you remember why you started writing in the first place. If starting a new project feels too heavy, do something really low pressure. Jot down some notes or ideas that you have for stories, or write a short scene. Use a book of writing prompts and just write. Just write a small 50-word paragraph with no expectations that it's going to lead to something else. Just practice your writing. Just practice getting those words out. Just practice being back at the keyboard or your notebook or however you write. Doodle, draw, brainstorm, make mind maps, or just close your eyes and daydream about whatever stories you want to write and what that's going to look like. Creativity is not an all or nothing thing. And sometimes you just have to let yourself play in order to get back to where you were. And that's a good lesson for all of us, because we can grind, grind, grind. We live in a culture that rewards us for grinding and hustling and doing all the things. But at the end of the day, and if you read anything at all that is written by people who are near the end of their life on earth, never do any of them regret spending more time working. And writing is work. So balance that out. Maybe you're feeling like you want to burn it all down because you've been out of balance. And this is where hyper focus comes into play, and obsession and all of those things that non-neurotypical people, NeuroSpicy people deal with. You can become so focused on what you're doing that your personal life falls to pieces. And that's not the point of being creative. And there are boatloads of creatives in the world that were productive and creative and turned out books and books and books. And then you look at their personal lives, and their personal lives were a wreck. Why? Because when you're with someone, if you have a relationship, they actually expect you to spend time with them. You need to make sure that you're also remembering the other people in your life. And that's hard for us to do. Balance is hard for us to do, which is why we either want to create and write everything or we want to set it on fire. Speaking from an ADHD standpoint, setting things on fire, blowing things up in our lives is oftentimes how ADHD people deal with overwhelm. We become overwhelmed, so we just wreck everything and start over. And what happens is you have a lot of brokenness in your life because of that. You quit the job, you break up, you get a divorce, you move out of the house, you dump all your clothes, and you have 4 pairs of pants left and maybe 3 shirts. You do really dramatic things because you can't get your brain around the idea that there's ever any other way out besides burning it all down. This is where the title for this came from, burning it all down, burning your career down, quitting because it feels like too much. And again, rest, step back. Those are the first 2 things I want you to do when you're starting to feel that way or when you are feeling that way. Okay? The third thing that I want you to do is to revisit your why. I want you to get in touch and remember why you started writing in the first place. I keep a folder of kind things that people send to me when they've enjoyed a particular story or particular book, notes and emails. And those things help me remember why I write for external reasons. And I call that external reasons because that's external praise. But I also have a document where I wrote down when I first started writing why I wanted to write. What's the point? I mean, really, what's the point of any creative endeavor? Why do you want to paint? Why do you want to draw? Why do you want to write? Why do you want to write poetry? Why do you want to write books, short stories, you name it? Why do we want to do this thing that we are not required to do and that we may or may not get paid for? Why? Why do we need to do this? Remember your why. Remember that, going back and revisiting that and seeing if those things still hold up, seeing if that's still what you want to do is super important. But more than that, it's grounding. It will ground your work going forward, remembering your why. And it's hard to keep your why front of mind all the time. And that's why I suggest keeping a file, either a hard copy of notes, or keep a file on your computer, or keep a list in your journal, or keep it on a 3x5 card where you can go back and remember why it is you want to do what you want to do. And hopefully that will give you some perspective and tamp down the overwhelm. And the thing that most, and I'm going to say most because I have a lot of friends that are on the spectrum that have ADHD, that have other mental health issues, and people that I have worked with for years, that the first thing that most people want to do, whether or not they have mental health issues, when they're struggling, is to isolate, because we feel a sense of shame that it's so hard for us. And that shame is driven oftentimes by rude comments and scoldings and things that were driven into us or given to us or yelled or shouted to us, or however they got into our heads. Whether we put them there or not, those voices get really loud. And staying isolated gives those voices an opportunity to really overtake your creativity and overtake you. So don't isolate completely. Yes, step back from social engagements that drain you, But don't step back from things that don't drain you. Don't give up going to the gym if the gym is your happy place. Don't give up going to the coffee shop where you go every day to work, even if you're not working. Go to the coffee shop, sit down, have a coffee, read a book. Find something fun or uplifting or interesting or exciting to read or do. Take a walk with somebody. Make appointment to see somebody, to visit, to go to lunch, or just a phone call to talk. But don't isolate yourself. Because when you isolate, oftentimes you only listen to the negative voices in your head, and they become deafening. We all know depression is a liar, and overwhelm can lead to depression, no matter what your neuro status, whether you're neurotypical or neuroatypical. Isolation, negative ideas about yourself can lead to horrible feelings of hopelessness and self-doubt. Reach out to other people, someone who'll understand. Often other writers really understand what it is that's going on with you and why you feel like you want to set your manuscript on fire. And they are more than likely, if you have a writer friend, to offer really heartfelt words of encouragement because they've been there. And if you don't have a writing group that's supportive of you or a writing friend, maybe it's time to try and reach out and find those people. It's hard sometimes if you live in a small, I live in a small town, there's nobody else here that writes what I write. And yet there are other writers here. And even though we don't write the same things, we understand that if we are having a hard time, what that means. If we say, I just want to set it on fire, we get that. We know because we're other writers. So whether online or in person, reach out to other people when you're struggling. Reach out for a community. Reach out for any connection you can latch onto to help pull you out of that spiral that will make you quit your creative career. And if no one else tells you, please let me remind you that your work is valuable and that you're not alone. You're not alone in your upsetness. You're not alone in your desire to set your work on fire. You're not alone in your desire to blow up your career. You're not alone. And I want you to succeed sincerely. If you're listening to this, if you're a writer, if you listen to this, and even though you're not a writer yet, do it. Get that paper out, get some words down, sit down at the keyboard, just scribble in a notebook, get some Sharpies out and a big poster piece of paper, however you want to do it, but start. And if you're thinking about quitting, don't. Don't quit because in one moment, or even a series of moments, you feel hopeless and frustrated. Shove those lies out of your head by filling your head with positive things. And I'm not going to be a Pollyanna here. Sometimes that is absolutely impossible, especially in an environment like the stressful things that are going on in the world right now, politically, environmentally, financially. There are so many external stressors that we need to take care of ourselves. So to recap, when you want to burn it all down, remember to rest, step back from any engagements you can, find a project, pick a project that sparks joy in your heart and makes you remember why you like doing what it is that you're doing. Revisit your why. Take time to remember why it is you want to do what you're doing. Why do you want to write? Remember that. Who do you want to write for besides yourself? And number 4, don't isolate for too long. It's okay to take a day or two maybe, but don't lock yourself in your room or your house and sit there with that horrible feeling of giving up or quitting or all of the other emotions. Don't do that. So, a little bit of a heavier topic and a longer discussion today, but that's it for me. Until next time, keep writing, keep creating, and remember, you're a writer. Thanks for tuning in to Writing While Distracted, where we navigate the winding roads of creativity amidst the chaos of distraction. If you've enjoyed this podcast and found it useful, please share it with other people. DM me and let me know what you found most useful. Leave a review. It really helps get the podcast in front of more folks. And remember, in the dance between focus and diversion, every stumble is a step closer to mastering the art of writing. Join us next time as we continue to unravel the mysteries of the writer's mind. Until then, keep writing, keep wandering, and embrace the distractions that fuel your creativity. Stay tuned, stay inspired.